On a bright, ordinary market day in Huddersfield town centre, tragedy struck. 16-year-old Ahmad Al-Ibrahim, a Syrian refugee and student, was walking with a friend, unaware that his life was minutes away from ending. He'd come to the UK seeking safety, but was murdered in broad daylight by 20-year-old Alfie Franco, a man he didn't even know and who had no reason to kill him. This is the story of a senseless act of violence, a devastating loss, and a life sentence that followed. Ahmad survived unimaginable hardship. He grew up in Syria, surrounded by a loving family, but caught in the dangers of war. An explosion in his home country had already left him physically scarred. He came to the UK as a refugee to study and rebuild his life. Family in Britain, including his uncle, Ghazwan Al-Ibrahim, cared for him as a son. Ghazwan described him as sociable, ambitious and kind, someone who loved helping people and dreamed of becoming a doctor to care for his sick mother. That was a dream that would never come true. It was a sunny afternoon. Ahmad and his friend, Walid Al-Nassar, were walking through Huddersfield town centre. Nearby, 20-year-old Alfie Franco was stood eating an ice cream. What happened next was caught clearly on CCTV, footage that would later become the centerpiece of the trial. Franco called out to Ahmad, asking him to come closer. As Ahmad turned and approached, calmly, with no sign of aggression, Franco secretly pulled the knife from his waistband, opened it and hid it in his pocket. Moments later, as Ahmad got within range, Franco lunged forward with his left hand, stabbing Ahmad in the neck. The blade entered 6 centimeters deep, severing his jugular vein, damaging his windpipe and cutting his carotid artery. Bystanders screamed and his friend tried to help. Despite the best efforts of emergency medics, the injuries inflicted to Ahmad were not survivable. He later died in hospital, terrified, in pain and far from home. When questioned, Franco tried to claim that he acted in self-defense, saying Ahmad had a large knife tucked in his waistband, but the CCTV told a different story. Ahmad was unarmed. He never made a threatening move. The judge described Franco's account as a deliberate lie. It also emerged on the day of the killing, Franco had been messaging an associate, boasting that he was willing to stab a stranger with the knife. Detectives later found videos on his phone showing Franco practicing how to use the flick knife one-handed with his non-dominant left hand. Evidence, the judge said, of preparation and intent. Throughout the trial, Franco maintained his story, but the jury wasn't convinced. After seeing the footage and hearing the evidence, they found him guilty of murder. At Leeds Crown Court, Judge Geoffrey Marson KC delivered a powerful sentencing statement. He called the evidence clear and overwhelming and told Franco he had lured Ahmad closer before delivering a deliberate and fatal blow. The judge added that Ahmad's final moments must have been terrifying and painful. He acknowledged the profound grief of Ahmad's family, particularly his father, who suffered a heart attack upon hearing the news, and his mother, who still remains heartbroken in Syria. Judge Marson imposed a mandatory life sentence for murder, the minimum term 23 years, before Franco can even be considered for parole. He also ordered the destruction of the knife used in the killing, along with a second weapon and Franco's mobile phone, which had featured in videos shown to the court. Ahmad's murder shocked Huddersfield and beyond. West Yorkshire Police described the case as a brutal and unprovoked attack on a young man who had come to this country for safety. They thanked the community for assisting in the investigation and expressed sympathy for Ahmad's family, both in the UK and in Syria. For the people of Huddersfield, this was a reminder of how quickly knife violence can destroy lives, not just the victims, but families, friends, and entire communities. Ahmad Al-Ibrahim was just 16, a student and a boy with dreams. He came to the UK for peace, but instead became another lost life to knife crime. His killer, Alfie Franco, will spend at least 23 years behind bars. But for Ahmad's family, the sentence is no comfort. Their pain, their loss, will last forever. This is Crime Line Reports, unveiling the facts behind the crime.